What is going on, everybody? Wayne Gerard, welcome. We are going to be breaking down Salernitana Roma, Daniele De Rossi's second win out of two, Lorenzo Pellegrini's second goal out of two matches under his new boss. It's looking a lot better, a lot freer, a lot more balanced. In other news, actually, Roma have signed a new left back, Angelino, who comes over from Red Bull Leipzig. Yeah, former Manchester City youth product, and he's very offensive. That's his one thing, is he's really like I want to call him more of a winger even than an outside back. But that is his discipline by trade. Whether or not he's going to be disciplined in that regard is another story. But Roma get a player that they really need, and it's one who probably frees up Zalewski to go more forward. I don't know if Zalewski can really. Well, let me say, I think this is his big chance. If Zalewski is worth being that type of player that you depend on, he's going to have to start showing it now that he is playing back in his position. But guys, throw some comments in, throw some of your thoughts. How you feeling after this? I feel okay. I mean, I think if we look towards the rundown, it's something we can hit really quickly here. I'm looking for my banner. Yeah, the timeline. So this match starts off a little bit shaky. Pellegrini and Candreva, the two captains, they go out and they shake hands. But after that, that was as much friendliness as we really saw between the two of them. But I think the biggest, or I should say, the more momentum came for Salernitana about in the 24th minute mark. Candreva looks like he's 25 again, and he starts. He puts the ball through Bove's legs, then gets a shot in on goal. It's almost a beautiful tiragir by him, tiragir, and then it just goes right over the crossbar. I shouldn't say right over. It's maybe about 5 yards. So, but then Salernitana get another chance in the 31st minute, driven in from the center of the pitch. That's I think that's actually a defender, number 3. As I'm just watching these highlights over again. Then the number 3 again. I gotta see who this is because he was quite influential. Then in the 35th minute, goes right over the bar as number 3 connects with Candreva there, and oh man, just off the mark there. Roma very lucky to get away without letting in a goal in the first half here. I gotta get this number 3's name right now. Let's see who that was. Bradaric. I'm not too familiar with him. 24-year-old. Yeah, Croatian from Split. Interesting. Let's see where he's from. I mean, where he grew up and stuff. I'm going to share my screen, actually, with you real quick as we look at this player. Bradaric. Domagoj, Croatian international. He's already got 4 appearances for them, it looks like. Hajduk Split. Yeah, legendary club there. Was at Lille. And then looks like Salernitana paid a good bit of money for him this past summer. 5 million. That's a considerable sum for a club like them. But even Lille to have purchased him for one up front? No, that can't be. If I'm reading this correctly, 6.5. So they actually lost money on him. That's weird. But maybe he just didn't pan out there. He didn't work for them. 24 years old, like I said, 22 appearances so far for Salernitana, December 10th. So he just turned 24. And it says he plays a left back, but I tell you what, this player really likes to drive and create from almost like a Teo Hernandez-esque, where now you see these left backs and they take much more central positions. But then in the 49th minute, Roma start off quickly. Cristante heads it into 25, and that is number 25. Who commits that foul? We're going to back up here. Number 25, Maggiore. Yes, that's going to be Giulio Maggiore, 25-year-old, who gives away the penalty kick in there. And Dybala, of course, converts it. Cool as ever. 51 minutes into that one. Roma do get the second goal, but before that, there's a little bit more action where Candreva, once again, from the wing, puts in with his right foot, and it's headed just over the crossbar from, who is that? You can see I'm not very familiar with Salernitana's players. I don't think any of us are really, but that one was destined for Nwankwo. Is that how you say it? Nwankwo? The W's are always pronounced like these, whatever. But then Roma make it 2 after Dybala makes such a nice flick onto Karsdorp, unleashes him down on the right flank, plays it in for Pellegrini, And Pellegrini puts it away very nicely, comfortably for his second goal in 2 matches and 2 under his old partner, his old captain, Daniele De Rossi. Salernitana do get their goal, but before that, in the 68th minute, they almost get their goal back immediately, I should say. Llorente has to sweep it up, but Rui Patricio, he had a decent game today. He had a lot to work with. He's shaky, and that's probably being nice to him. However, he did come up when he really needed to today, and by saying that, he came up when he needed to. What I really mean is that he stopped the ball from going in the back of the net, simply put, right? But yeah, he didn't exactly inspire confidence. That would be too much to say. And then in the 70th minute, it is Salernitana who finally gets that goal, and probably deservedly off the header there. Is it shaky defending? Was Roma playing too high of a line? Was it too risky? Were they too tired? But you would have thought maybe Christensen could have picked up that mark, or the center backs would have shifted and they would have had that figured out a little bit better. But then in the 92nd minute, Salernitana almost grabbed the second. And this is not an event which definitely does not make Roma fans feel more confident. This was a great opportunity, honestly, for Salernitana and for their fans. This would have been a dream for them. But once again, it's the Croatian left back who puts in a beautiful ball. This kid's going to be something, this Croatian player here. And I don't know who gets ahead on it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But Patricio does a good job there and covers it up. Inzaghi getting some gray hair, I could see towards the end of the match. And Dybala speaks with the ref. Okay, for Salernitana, guys, I'll say it's a good showing. I thought they showed a lot of heart. And why do I even care about them? Because I think that we should look at the standings. And if we go back here and we go to Serie A, right, let's see what those looks like right now, because Salernitana dead last. And what I saw today is not a team who plays like they're dead last with only 12 points. So their last point actually came 5 games ago at this point, 5 matches ago. They're much better than Empoli. They are significantly better than Cagliari, than Udinese for sure, and Verona. So for me, I think that Salernitana is a 16th or even a 15th place team. I guess you could say Lecce is a bit overperforming. Frosinone play a bit more free than you would have expected from a Serie B team. I think a lot of that is probably down to Sule. But I do see a bunch of comments coming in here, so I want to get to those now. Hi, Martinez. How are you, my friend? Vincenzo's here. Much needed 3 points. Yeah, guys, throw some likes in there. We need to get this channel growing. And I know I need to do more. I need to be more active, doing stuff throughout the week and whatnot. But ultimately, you know what? This is for us, for our little community. And I always think it's going to be quality over quantity. We're never going to do clickbait here. But thank you for your support regardless. Which player was your favorite tonight? My favorite. Usually always Dybala, right? Bove, I didn't think had that strong of a match. Can I do this? Alt-6. How do I change? Yeah, there we go. That's a better view. My favorite player. I think it was a tough match for Roma where their talents were not really allowed to thrive. I'm happy for Pellegrini. I think he did exactly what he needed to. And for that, in a very rare occasion, I'm going to say he was probably my favorite player tonight. Man of the match, I want to open that up to everyone here too. Who is your man of the match tonight? Because it's like we were talking about, right? It's this first half where the Giallorossi come out a little bit off the mark, like a step behind, especially in a tough stadium. If you caught the post I made about the preview, I had a throat infection for like 10 days now. Super annoying. I just made some spicy pasta fagioli type soup tonight to try and get rid of it once and for all. But on the preview, we're talking about, or at least I wrote in, how it was going to be tricky. Against Salernitana, this was not going to be a walk in the park. And we see that come true today. So with that being said, for me, this is a hard call. Was it Cristante? I don't think he looked totally great. I think he's got to get used to playing a bit more of an athletic game, pressing and causing possession. So thanks, man. But let's get back to these comments here. Also, a bit weird how it looks like the stream gets more traction when something bad happens to Roma. Teams lose, manager gets sacked. Yeah, people that's like the hot moment. It's like when things are going bad, everyone wants to come in, talk. say how things aren't great or what should be done. It's like Monday morning quarterback in the United States with American football. That's like an old saying, is that whenever it's Monday morning, people come in, they have their opinions from the newspapers and the media, the websites, right? And they're all like throwing out these different ideas about what was right and what was wrong to do. So, Adnan, great to see you as well. Great match with Roma moving 3 points in the table. Who would you pick for your best match? Yeah, like I don't know. I do want to be influenced. I want to be influenced by your opinions here before I totally say. Yeah. See, like I would say even Mancini is a great shout for man of the match. Um, yeah, that's fair. I could agree with you there because I did think that he really did have to lead tonight. Playing now in a back four is a bit more difficult for him. I think he didn't seem, or I should say, we didn't think that he was going to be as adept at playing back four as he was back three, which he's been playing for 3 years. But he did look fine. Uh, yeah, it was a 4-3-3 for sure. You could say that Pellegrini did act more of a true winger than he ever has. Did it work for him? So, yeah, sometimes. I thought he was good in build-up. I thought that he came to the middle of the pitch when he needed to in order to like connect the dots, if you want to say that, and combine with his teammates. So, yeah. Just looking through these. Thoughts on Angelino? Is this Pinto submitting last-minute homework or more of a push from De Rossi? I think when it became apparent that Roma needed to play 4-3-3, that there was going to need to be, or that they were going to be playing 4-3-3, that there was going to be a necessity to have an extra left back, a true left back, not a Zalewski type player. And as well, when you look at the condition of Spinazzola, I have a feeling this was a push from De Rossi. He was probably like, yo, I need a left back to help me in my movements. Like this team, I can't play without that type of player. So I think that Angelino is that type of guy. I heard him pronounced Angelino on Rete Sport or Tele Radio Stereo today. I do not think his name is Angelino, but maybe somebody out there, if you're Spanish or you remember his time at Manchester City or you watch German football, remind me or at least let me know that it's not Angelino, but Angelino, which I'm assuming. But however, thoughts. He's a bit offensive from what I've seen. He gets really high up the pitch. Is he going to be a defensive liability? Perhaps. But maybe what he offers in offensive capabilities will overcompensate what he doesn't give in defense. It does seem with De Rossi that offense is the first line of defense with the way that they're pressing and keeping possession up the pitch. That seems to be a hallmark of his play as we've seen so far. This is only the second game, right, guys? But certain things are apparent, and that's obvious within the first 20 minutes. Bove, quiet. Vincenzo, what type of picture is that? Are you burning down the woods? He says, Dybala found a way to be standout, an expendable player, even though he didn't look 100%. Shout out to the Misfits, Llorente and Karsdorp, for making plays. Yeah, Karsdorp getting on that cross for the second goal. Good to see. Dybala, Pele, or Mancini. This is definitely true. Narf McCringle is in here, who has a old Roman helmet, I think. And he said, De Rossi's Pellegrini over Jose's Pellegrini. I mean, Lorenzo is completely lost under Jose. And it kind of makes me think like there was 1% of me holding out for Lorenzo. And that was the way that he played for the Azzurri, for the national team. So whenever he plays with Spalletti or even Mancini, he was a lot more free. He was a lot more up the pitch. And what do you know? 2 goals in 2 matches and a finisher, which looks more like an offensive player from a true attacker rather than somebody who's played midfield for the majority of their career. Interesting there. Diogo is here. What is up, Diogo? Hi, how are you? And he says 3 to 4 years ago, and confirmed it's Angelino, please, Diogo. He was a top player. He says going from loan to loan is far from promising. Does anyone know what happened in Turkey? Hi, baby. My baby's looking at me from beyond the camera. What are you doing? You woke up from your nap or your bath? You look so clean. From her nap. Yeah, I shouldn't say woke up from the bath. People are gonna call parental services on me. But guys, let's go over the press conference here from De Rossi to DAZN. Difficult first half where you struggled to find the right space. Then unlocking helped things. What did you say to the team at halftime? He said, I said the same thing I said after Verona. If we have slow ball possession, we never get a shot on goal and we lose a lot of games. If we do it by keeping the ball in the game and going in like vultures, then we are strong. I like that. We need to work on understanding the moments of the match. Then he points to Spilar after Dybala's goal. He says, I played dumb with the guys on the bench. I asked him if he would score it, and he told me yes. So he's just like it as a joke. Reporter says, I know how much you care about being Roma's coach, and you started with 2 victories. In the first half, the best players didn't skip the man. Didn't skip the man. Non soltato l'uomo. I'm trying to translate that, what that might mean in my head. Or maybe like get past their player. He says, we also didn't beat their man. He said, we also talked about this at the end of the first half. We can talk about schemes like plays and ball possession, but duels must be won with or without the ball. Football is all there. The rest is philosophical. This is exactly, I think, what I've been trying to say for years. When Mourinho was coach, when he wasn't coach, when it was Rudy, whoever, is that you've got to be the first to the ball. The manager, whoever it is, cannot make you jump higher, be stronger, beat the man to the ball. We know that's as simple rules of football. Be the first one there. Okay, continue. He says, if the boys don't win duels, it's my fault. Kind of counteracts what I just said. He says, I have to put them in a position to make them understand when to try the play. They win duels because they're strong. When they recognize the moments of the match, they will make the difference, as they always have. So it seems that I think what we can compare to Mourinho is there's a bit more faith. Like, no, my boys know what to do. That does seem to be a theme here. Enzo, what's up, man? Hey, man, just checking in. How are you? Yes, I'm excited. Enzo, I'm very curious because I see some of your tweets during like the middle of the night. You must be Australian, right? I'm not crazy for that. You're either in Australia or like Thailand, but I'm gonna go with I'm going with Australia. Making myself choke here. I'm not that funny. I don't know why I laugh at my own jokes. Satisfied with Lukaku's performance. He says in the first half, he was the only guy who gave us depth. We served him little. True, he didn't get much on a plate at all. He says the ball was possessions is slow. They played with 3 central defenders, and there was no space. By the way, these defenders, Guillaume, I saw Guillaume make a slide tackle against Lukaku, and I was like, what year is it? With the crash, it becomes devastating. He suffered and worked with the team. He helped more than against Verona, which I noticed as well. Verona, I thought Lukaku was quite lazy. He says, I'm satisfied. A champion like that who fights until the end is always a pleasure. The spirit is the right one. Reporter says, I congratulate you. I'm happy to see you as a coach with so many responsibilities. You were a little lacking in attention because you won 2-0. Well, they won 2-1, but okay. He says, in the second goal, perhaps we lacked some time to work. They played a lot with 3 central defenders and had a different way of dividing up the area. We do a bit of mixed work between offense and defense. Sometimes the line, sometimes something else, but time is short. The fault is ours since we worked little on this aspect, but now we would have more time to analyze it. Even before putting in Huijsen, not a single pin passed. Positioning on crosses from the back needs to be improved. You have to be careful because otherwise you lose points against strong teams like Salernitana. So he calls them a strong team, and I agree. Like we said at the beginning of this episode, if you came in now past 5 minutes, I said that this is a Salernitana that does not deserve to be where they are. They've only got 12 points. Their last point, win or draw, it was a win, came 5 matches ago. And I think that they're really like a 15th to 16th place team. But like, what was it? A week or 2 ago, they lost to Juventus like in the last minute. They're holding on with one guy. It's so unfortunate for them because I do think they have a great fan base. They've got cool players. Like Candreva is inspiring. I'm 33. I watch him play and I'm like, yo, I got to eat a little less bread, some less cake, and like get some abs and go do it and be athletic because I'm just inspired by this player. I think he can still play, honestly, for a big team too and make things happen. I think Salernitana deserve to stay up. They've got good colors. I like them. They're the Seahorses. And Serie A would be disserviced without them. So I'm hoping that Inzaghi gets them on the straight and narrow soon. Who wins the Super Bowl? I was looking for the Miami Dolphins to go. But De Rossi says, I hope for Kansas City, but I hope to win against Cagliari in the next match. So I guess that's his Super Bowl. I don't know. If anyone stayed up late last night, they would have seen Detroit blow it against the 49ers. So it's a repeat of Kansas City Chiefs. I like Mahomes. I don't dislike him. I think they got a lot of favorable calls. Kind of sick and tired of hearing the Taylor Swift thing. Every time Kelsey catches the ball, they pan to her. I'm like, all right, like, what are we doing here? But, marketing. Goal in an important match for Pellegrini. He says, I don't like talking about individuals. Many played a heartfelt game. I couldn't think of a better captain for the way he welcomed me beyond friendship. I was out of Roma and I didn't want to get involved. I'm not a curious, I'm not overly curious. He says, I've heard many things in recent years, but I found smart, serious men who care about the shirt. He's worthy captain of this group. And I think that with us, that's like a common gripe. Is Pellegrini worthy of being captain? And as fans, there's a lot of opinions on that. Okay, a few more questions here. Reporter says, Roma are too predictable, even with significantly superior ball possession. He says, I have to be better at conveying my ideas. From a technical point of view, I believe that we are a team that can offer a certain type of football, especially if everyone is inside the team match and participate actively. Often we face opponents who wait for you, close the passing lines, and create difficulties. It is up for us to find solutions because 81% of ball possession does not give you extra points or goals. But I also invite you to watch the action of 0-2. I think everything was done well. Dybala out of position. He can operate in many positions on the pitch. We know how important he is, and we know that he will always be carefully marked. I repeat, it's up to me to make sure that the potential of the squad is enhanced by my game. Let's now look at the one about the refereeing errors. Two more here. Roma, who won by episodes. What didn't work? But when they say episodes, they mean like sequences. Like, you could say that Roma didn't play good for the majority of the match, but there's a couple moments, a couple passing sequences. That's really the best word I can come up with. He says, first of all, I'll tell you that I saw Salernitana Juve, Salernitana Lazio, Napoli Salernitana. He says they're a good team. They play well, and I have to be good at ensuring that the players can demonstrate their technical superiority. I came from 12 days, and I would speak of a hard-fought victory, not a casual one. After the match against Verona, you said that there was a good first half. Today, there were things that didn't go very well, and it means that I have to be more careful. Takes responsibility. A manager who takes accountability. What happens when Salernitana scored? He says against Verona, everyone pointed the finger at the keeper. But in my opinion, 3 to 4 players made mistakes. That's the truth. I quickly reviewed their goal, and I would like to evaluate carefully. You will talk about the final part of the action. I think that sometimes the mistakes are out of the question. At 0-2, you have to work as if it were 0-0. Otherwise, a good team like Salernitana will push you. But at the same time, despite a bit of concern, I must say that not a pin went through the penalty area. Nothing more happened. So what he means by that is like that was the only threatening action that happened for the entirety of the match. But what we saw, especially in the first half, I think he's referring to the second half. First half, Roma could have been down 2-0. Salernitana came to play, man. Like I've been saying, they're a hot team. I don't know, it says for stats today. 12 penalties equals goals in a row for Roma's number 21. Ooh, interesting. Toronto. Tell me you're a Woodbridge guy. That's good, man. And Dika will be important if we continue to use a high line. His speed will be crucial to help Roma with recoveries. After we get through this next comment from you and Vincenzo, we're going to take a look at the Ivory Coast and Indika's run because they just qualified for the quarterfinals. Vincenzo says, Salerno have great colors. Seahorses are cool. By the way, I'm standing in front of a burning forest in BC waiting for a helicopter. All right, so please tell us the story. You can't just say I'm waiting in front of a burning forest in British Columbia waiting for a helicopter. You're going to have to expand on that, bud. Since there's no preseason for managers that come in midseason, Enzo points out, they're forced to test their ideas in meaningful matches. Luckily, we managed to win while learning. Yes, no preseason, no camp, no time for the players to get used to those tactics. Enzo also mentions that there's going to be a lot of miscues to look at in film, and now De Rossi will have that full 7 days to look at these with the team and make adjustments. Very true. So that let me look real quick Roma's schedule, and I'm going to share this with you as well. Where we going? Okay. So I could see Inter on the horizon February 10th. Oh boy. I'm going to be in a plane on that one. I'm going to be coming back from Utah, and I better have Wi-Fi or else I'm going to be very upset. Roma Cagliari, yes, Monday, February 5th. So in a week's time And then in 5 days after that, it's the match against Inter. And then Europa League. That's the quarterfinal, right? Or is it round of 16? February 15th, then Frosinone, Feyenoord again, Torino, Monza, Fiorentina, Sassuolo, Lecce, and then the Derby. So Roma have a much lighter schedule all the way until, excluding Inter, all the way until April 7th. And then on the back end, we could say the only big team, we can cross Napoli out of that right now. The only big team remaining would be Juventus. And Atalanta, I think, are just a rival, a competitor. I wouldn't count them as a big team just because they're good. They're a team that hopefully Roma do beat. And that's the season. It's shocking to look at it like this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 18 matches to go at a minimum because of Europe. And that could be extended, but it's it's weird. End of January, today's the 29th. February is, I guess, tomorrow or the next day. Hi, Sven. Yes, we have enjoyed Christensen, and the observations you made about him some time ago were really great. Got a chance to meet up with Marco and Mike from IFTV and play some football when they came here. Oh, I saw that they recently had a what do you call it? Like impromptu game, rented a facility or a turf out in Woodbridge, or at least in Toronto. Who was your man? Okay. Feyenoord match is the round of 30. Oh, right. Second in the group. Yeah. So if Roma do advance, it's quite a long way to go. That stinks. Sven says Roma's going to smoke Inter, and Inter is for girls. Well, speaking of girls, you may have seen that Roma Femminile signed a new player. Where is she? Pilgrim. And she was wearing the same sweater I'm wearing. So I feel at least remotely, I don't want to say cool. No, I don't feel cool at all. But let's see if we could find her on the website. Pilgrim. So it's already been removed, but here we go. From their YouTube. Yeah, we could share this. Cool. And by the way, Pilgrims translates to Pellegrini, or Pellegrini translates to Pilgrims. So that's kind of cool, I thought. They're not going to copyright me for this, right? No, from their YouTube? I don't think so. Anyway, but there was a lot of talk about Pilgrim on social media, and I'm sure you can imagine why. But so this is a medium, Joe, and I felt that it was a touch big, but now that I look at it on video, and it kind of looks appropriate. So yeah, I would say order like, I don't know. I think the medium fits for me, and I often wear a small. So it's kind of like American sizing, I would say, more than anything. Like it's not like Kappa. Like a Kappa medium is more like an American small-ish heading towards a medium, like somewhere in between. Whereas I do feel this is more of a typical American cut on this one. So let me just adjust my computer here a little bit. I could see it coming in on the screen. There we go. Oh, look, you guys should meet up and go to a one of the pubs. I know that Toronto club, Roma Toronto, right? Roma Toronto club. They Roma Club Toronto, that they organize some things here and there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that. Summer 26. Oh, Alexis Creek, BC, way back from maintenance operation. Saw a house on fire. Wow. Oh, wow. I was thinking it was actually going to be more of the recent fires where New York City was completely covered in smoke. Sven says, Christensen playing out of position almost every game since he's arrived. Not alive. Really just a right back, so props to him for stepping up. I think Tammy's going to be back soon. I'm hoping by like late March he should be running. Hopefully Chris is back as well. What's she doing in there? She's playing. Save that. Wow. Vincenzo, look at that. Save the house. Garage burned down. Waiting for a helicopter to return. Wow. That's kind of crazy. I wonder what you do for work, Vincenzo. You're suddenly very mysterious. Yeah. Roma Femminile looking to retake Serie A again. I want to see them do something in Champions League. Who'd they lose to last year? Barcelona, I think it was. But I said we were going to look at Ivory Coast and what they were up to, and they won on penalties today. Guys, I gotta show you this team real quick. Let me share this. And I mean, the Ivory Coast is absolutely stacked. Their midfield, with besides Fofana, both Seri and Sanjare, they play in the Premier League. Fofana, you're probably familiar with him. He's playing out in Saudi Arabia, making like 25 mil a year. Conan there, Indika, Kosunu, Aurier. Big PSG influence here for sure, if not at least guys who passed through. Gradel, who's 36 years old. I think he plays in Turkey. Crasso, the center forward, and then Diakite from Fiorentina up there. But look at this bench. We remember Singo last year at Torino, now in Ligue 1. Francesi, for sure. Nicolas Pepe. Koame. Koame plays for Fiorentina, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he's from... Wait, who did I say? Diakite. Where's Diakite? Okay. No, I'm sorry. He's at Rem. Rem? Okay. Where are we? Sebastian Haller, who's been scoring a ton of goals for Borussia Dortmund. Jeremy Boga. Doumbia. It's another Doumbia. It's not the one who, he's probably like 41, the one who played for Roma. But Senegal as well, they're stacked. And they took them to penalties. Senegal are the reigning champions of AFCON, I'm pretty sure. And you can see Mane, Sarr, Diallo, Kamara, not Roma's, the ex-Roma player, but Sarr there. So recognizable names, as well as Koulibaly and Diallo at center back and Mendy in net. I think Ivory Coast is going to go win it. It's unfortunate for Roma because that means Ndika's gone for even longer. But if we look at some other teams, Cape Verde, that's interesting. Fun fact, Cape Verde is where Magellan's crew landed. And if they didn't land there on the way back from rounding South Africa, they would have died. Like, they all would have died. They would have starved in like a day or two's time. Egypt knocked out on penalties to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Guinea makes it through. And we can see the quarterfinals already taking shape with the Congo playing Guinea. Nigeria will play Angola. Yeah, when you talk about history, I can't help but think of what these countries, the former colonies, and how language plays such a big influence in the AFCON. I was listening to the TIFO podcast talk about how these reporters, since like language is a big thing, they have to like get together and kind of like work out the news, and everyone's got little tidbits of information because AFCON just not as well presented as, like, let's say the Premier League, right, or the World Cup. Joe, I think in the summer Roma looks elsewhere. If it's not Svilard, I think there's a big signing who comes in. Maybe Falcone, I could see being like a good cost option there. And just as he'd love to head down to Roma Club New York at some times, but my tweets following the match take me at least 2 hours, so that makes it difficult. What do you mean? Like, Roma, you're talking about Roma Club Toronto. I see what you're saying here. Let's see. Yeah. Sven says hopefully Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire wins the whole thing, and Ndika comes back with confidence. Hopefully Pinto can secure an additional winger for De Rossi before the end of the market. Is it Baldanzi? I'm going to leave on that note, guys. Is it Tommaso Baldanzi? I tell you what, he didn't help us with that goal against Juventus. He helped the rest of Serie A. He helped Inter Milan. That's who he really helped with that one. So is it too late? Was that deal already figured, negotiated between those two clubs? I sure hope so, because Empoli is going to demand an easy extra few million there. But I do think he's a player that Roma could really use. He's a great transitional player. He plays between the lines. You know that. Kid on Leipzig. Huh, interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, guys. Yeah, plays between the lines, sets it up, takes a shot when he needs to. Is probably would be the future free kick taker, because I don't really trust Pellegrini. Like, he's okay, and he's good. But when it comes to free kicks, I would like an expert and like a dead ball specialist. Like Baldanzi would be very good to have there, I think so. Young, you give him the number 10? Maybe you tell, hey, see how your first year goes, and we move on, we think about things. Yeah, that would be something there. So, but I wonder who would do the pressing. Tammy coming back from injury, that's something to think about. Who would be doing that? Guys, if you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Please help it grow. Subscribe, leave a like, send to your Roma friends. Tag me on anything if you post the stream or whatever, anything Roma related, Twitter, Instagram as well, for sure. Post it on Reddit, other places. I'm still feeling it a little bit. Boy, yeah, Baldonzi and Bove would really cook. Nice couple young Italians, guys who will be the core going forward of the national team. Hard to argue against that. One of my students today asked me who was going to be looking for Italy's starting lineup going forward, and I was thinking of the Tottenham keeper. I must have said his name 1,000 times, and I forget it right now. Vicario. I think Vicario goes in net, but then midfield. How do you say that Bove will not be a starter in this team? I think Bove's definitely got to be there with Barella, maybe with who else? Jorginho? I don't know. I feel like Jorginho's time is over. Perhaps Verratti, maybe him. Ciao, Vincenzo. Thank you, my fan. Thank you, my friend. My friend. Yes. Good night to you. Vicario. Yes. So when it comes to Italy, yeah, Bove's my man. Maybe Baldanzi gets in there. Chiesa still for sure. He's a game breaker. I want to leave you on this question here. Should Spalletti continue with Domenico Berardi, a player who's exceptional for his club, but when it comes to country, hasn't been able to get it done? And honestly, a player who doesn't really feel clutch when it comes to the big games. I want you to write that comment in. Is there a future for Berardi in the Azzurri? We'll leave off on that one. Actually, that's a great comment there from Spend. Bye, guys. Thank you. Dai Roma.